Is Alicia, and in this week's live lesson, we are going to talk about how to talk about transportation, and we are going to focus on some very common phrasal verbs related to transportation. So I get a lot of questions about phrasal verbs and how we use them in everyday life. So today's topic is going to include several. I've chosen about 8 to 10, and we're also going to review some transportation related expressions. So I've noticed that there are some very common errors that learners tend to make with transportation expressions. So I'm going to cover those and hopefully give you a chance to practice these kinds of expressions as well. All right, so let's get into our announcements for this week. The first and very important announcement for this week is that the team has a 40% off sale. Oh my gosh, the team has this 40% off sale for our lessons and courses at EnglishClass101.com. Here is the page you will find in the YouTube description link. So if you click the link below the video on YouTube or above the video on Facebook, you will find this page right here. So if you want to make an account, a premium or a premium plus account at EnglishClass101.com, there is now a 40% off sale there. So please, 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 please make sure to check this out if you are interested in studying with our lesson. So you can find all kinds of details on this page. So scroll down here to check out all the details. So if you have been thinking about studying with us for a while, now is a very good chance to start. So check this out. That is announcement number one. Announcement number two, as always, if you have questions for me, please send them to me. Seriously, please. Please send them. Please send me your questions. And also, please make sure that you do a search on the channel. So sometimes, actually a lot of the time, I've answered your question already. But if you have a question, like you're watching a, TV show, or you're watching a movie, or you are reading a book or the newspaper, something like that, and you find an interesting word, or you find just sort of a strange phrase you don't know how to understand, send it to me, and I will read your question for sure. If you send it to the official question submission page, which is EnglishClass101.com/ask-Alicia. That is very long. So there is a link for this in the YouTube description. So send it to me. Also, if you don't follow me on social media, you can also find those links in the YouTube description too. All right. So I think that's it. Facebook, where are you, Facebook? I see YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Jay Donnell, hello. Welcome. Padon Nu from Congo. Wow, hello. Allison Taylor, hello. Ahmed, hello. Max from Sao Paulo, Brazil. What's up? Dilshad from Uzbekistan. Hi. Hugo, hello. Oh, cool. I'm glad you like the classes. Arturo, the class, this is a live class, yes, but it is not an individual class. This is with everybody. Okay, and what else have we got? Okay, lots of people. What is up? So let's get into today's topic. I have a lot of things I want to cover. If you missed it, today we are going to talk about how to talk about transportation with phrasal verbs. So today I want to review some common transportation related expressions, and then we'll cover phrasal verbs, some really common ones there too. Also, if you haven't, please, 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 please make sure to hit the like button and share this video because it helps us with the algorithm, yeah? It helps other people to find us. So here, I will show you now today's lesson boards. This is what we're going to talk about today. So today we're going to talk about first transportation methods. So first we're going to start with some review, and you will have a chance to answer two sample questions here. Then we're going to talk about phrasal verbs in part 2 and part 3. So I'm going to break down what's happening in these phrasal verbs and talk about some common mistakes that I hope that you can avoid. Okay, so let's get into part 1. So review time about transportation methods. So let's take a look. What do we do when we need to talk about transportation? So let's take a look at the first set of samples. So transportation method, the most basic ways that we express how we are going to travel, right? So we need to think about what we use to travel and a preposition to use. So what am I talking about? So when we talk about how we travel, we say, I'm going to travel by vehicle, right? By some kind of moving machine. Or we also say we travel like on foot, right? So we can say, I travel by car or by bus, by plane, by bike, by motorcycle, by skateboard, whatever, right? And we also say on foot, right? So this is, I think, something many learners, right, you see in your textbook, right, oftentimes. So I travel by car, I went by plane, right? So this is a very basic way that we express transportation. Then we have some very common verbs that we use for transportation too. So I made a short list here, just very common ones. There are more, but we have to ride, to take, to walk, to skate, to drive, and so on. So your task, if you're watching this live or not, is you have two questions. I have two questions for this part to kind of warm up in today's lesson. So first question is, how do you usually travel to work or to school? How do you usually travel to work or to school? And second, how did you travel on your last vacation? So try to write a full sentence that answers these and send it in the chat or in a comment. I will try to check you live if I can, okay? So let's go through these verbs and break down when we use them. So the first one here is to ride, to ride. So we use to ride a bike, as in to ride a bicycle, yeah? Past tense is rode, yeah? So to ride a bike or to ride a motorcycle. We use ride with these things. Second, we have to take, like to take a train, or to take a plane, or to take a bus, right? So take is used with these, for example. The past tense is took, okay? Then we have, of course, to walk, right? To walk, which means traveling on foot. So to walk. We can also say to skate, right? Like to skate, which we use for a skateboard, or I guess roller skates or roller blades. I don't know. Does anyone like travel by roller skates? I don't know. Maybe. Okay. And finally, to drive. So to drive a car or to drive a truck, right? The past tense is drove. Past participle is driven. Okay? So you can send in the chat for our warm-up today how you usually travel to work or to school. So let's see. For example, like I usually travel to work. I usually take a train to work. I usually take a train to work. Or I usually take a car or to work. Or I usually drive a car to work. Okay? So what are your answers? Oh, good. Some answers are coming in now. Someone says, I usually travel by camel. Is that true? Is that really true? That's funny. Watch your spelling of usually, yeah? Usually. There's an A there. Let's see. Alejandro says, I usually travel to my work by car. I would say I usually travel to work by car or to my job by car, to my work or to my office. I would probably not say my work, but good transportation sentence. Roni says, I drive to work every day. Good. Max says, I travel by car, but usually I stay at my home office. Okay. Oh my gosh, there are so many. Okay. I go to school by school bus, says Masud. Okay, cool. Nice one. Let's see. Some people are sending other comments. Karina says, I go to work on foot. Make sure some people are writing, sorry, I can't read your name. It's maybe in Farsi or Arabic. I do go to work by car. Just I go to work. We don't need to use that helping verb do. I do go. Just I go. Yeah. Let's see. Oh my gosh, there are so many. YouTube. Wow, look at you go. Okay, I usually travel to work by motorcycle, says Mary. Nice. Okay. Edvin says, I used to take a bus. Don't forget, I used to take a bus, or I used to take the bus. Yeah? Nice. Okay. Great examples, everybody. Buena fe. Nice. Really close. I usually to travel by drove a car. Really close. I usually, you don't need to say to travel. So I usually drive a car. I usually drive a car. So this too, this is just the infinitive form, the dictionary form of the verb. So we're making just a simple sentence with this verb, yeah? Nice job. A lot of you are writing really creative or different sentences. That's super cool. And M says, I commute to work by car. Nice. Okay. Anybody else? Anybody have an answer for number 2? How did you travel on your last vacation? So now you need to use past tense, yeah? How did you travel on your last vacation? So I traveled by train, or I took a plane for my last vacation. Actually, I took a train and a plane and a car on my last vacation, okay? So how did you travel on your last vacation, okay? Good. Some examples are still coming in. Oh my gosh, some of you are being very funny. Like, I travel by horse. Maybe that's true, I suppose. I go to my office on foot. I go to my office on foot. I want to talk about this on foot expression. It's not incorrect. It's not incorrect. I know many learners learn on foot. I travel on foot. But in today's everyday speech, we don't say on foot very often. Instead, we say I walk. Yeah? This verb here, I walk. So instead of saying I go to my office on foot, which actually sounds a little old-fashioned, we say I walk to my office, or I walked to the office today. So my recommendation is use walk instead of I went on foot. Like, on foot sounds kind of like old English, like 100 years ago or so. It's not wrong, but it sounds a little old-fashioned. So I know we teach it oftentimes, like, because it's kind of an easy one to learn, but it sounds a little more modern and natural to say I walked to the office. Okay. Ooh, vacation sentences are coming. Nice job, everybody. Okay. Oh my gosh, there's so many. I travel by last station by car. Maybe I traveled to the last station by car. How did you travel on your vacation? Okay. I traveled by a bike on my last vacation. So I traveled by bike. By bike. We don't need to use an article here. By a bike, no there. It's very bright. I drove a truck, says Padonu. Nice, okay. Let's see. There's so many, and it's very bright. I walked to college yesterday in the morning. Nice one, Jonathan. Okay, I traveled by car on my last vacation, Luis. Very close, just take out the. I traveled by car on my last vacation. Okay. Roger says, I traveled by bus on my last vacation. Nubia says, I traveled by plane on my last vacation. Nice, okay. Other ones. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's consider, when you, I would recommend generally that you use a verb to describe how you moved. So the prepositions, like by car, by plane, by bike, these are 100% correct. But kind of to level up your speech, I recommend you make a sentence with a verb, like focus on your communication, or focus on your transportation expression using a verb. So like, I rode my motorcycle to the office today, something like that. Instead of I traveled by motorcycle. Like, it sounds a little bit like more leveled up to do that. Okay, great. That was a long one, but thank you for your awesome example sentences. That looked really, really good. Let's take one super quick break, and then we'll get into part 2, phrasal verbs, okay? So if you missed it earlier, I talked about, really quickly, this 40% off banner at the bottom of the screen. The team has a 40% discount on our lessons and our courses at EnglishClass101.com. If you have been thinking about studying with us, now is a super, super good chance to start. So if you click the link below the video, if you're watching on YouTube, or above the video, if you're watching on Facebook, you will be able to find this page, which gives you lots of different details about studying with us, what you can get, the different tools that we have on our website. So if you want to get started, now is a really good chance. So this ends this week, so September 23rd this week. So if you have been thinking about it, this is a super, super good chance to start. Okay. Great. So let's get into part 2, phrasal verbs. So now we've refreshed our brain about transportation. Let's talk now about phrasal verbs. Oh my gosh, so many questions usually about phrasal verbs. Let's talk about some very common ones. So I've got 4 here, just 4. So you can send your example sentences with these too. So these are to get on, to get in, to get off, and to get out of. Okay, so I focused on get for this part. So we use these with transportation a lot. We use these 4 phrasal verbs to talk about starting our travel and stopping our travel. Okay, so let's start with to get on. To get on. So we use to get on with a bicycle, with a motorcycle, with a train, a plane, a bus, okay? So we don't use get on for all transportation. I'll talk about this in a minute. So to get on a bike, to get on a train means to enter that thing, to enter that vehicle, to start to ride that vehicle, yeah? So let's look at some example sentences. For example, I have to get on my plane. I have to get on my plane. So this get on means I have to enter the plane, yeah? So get on, yeah? One more, hurry up and get on the train. Hurry up and get on the train. So again, this means enter. Hurry up and get on the train. So a mistake I often see with this phrasal verb, and kind of the next one too. Many learners use in here, like I need to get in the plane. I 100% understand why. On an airplane, for example, you walk into the airplane, right? In the airplane. I completely understand. However, we don't use in for a plane. We use on. So I need to get on my plane, right? And if you can contact someone inside the plane, we say, I'm on the plane right now, right? So we use on for these types of transportation, on. Okay? All right. Good. Nahara says, I got on the plane on time. Nice. Good. So let's compare this to get in. To get in. So to get in, yeah? Different preposition. So we had get on. Now get in. So we use to get in for a car, for a truck, for a taxi. So these smaller vehicles, yeah? For example, get in the car so we can go. Get in the car so we can go. To get in also means enter, like start to ride something. But we use this with different transportation types. One more example. We got in a taxi 10 minutes ago. We got in a taxi 10 minutes ago. So a simple past tense sentence. Okay? So get in and get on have the same meaning. They both mean to enter a vehicle. However, we use in with these smaller things, right? Like a personal vehicle. Get on for like shared vehicles, and for like a bike, bicycle, or motorcycle, like we like sit on top of that thing. So if that's kind of a helpful guide, get on is used for like shared transportation. Get in is more like personal transportation. Okay? All right, let's continue to the next pair. So the next pair with get are to get off and to get out of. Yeah? To get off and to get out of. So again, these mean to leave a transportation, a method of transportation. But we have to think about the type of transportation. So to get off, we can say to get off a bike, to get off a train, to get off a plane. Just like up here, to get off, right? So we stop riding or we leave that thing. For example, let's get off at the next stop. Let's get off at the next stop on a train or on a bus, yeah? Let's get off at the next stop. We also use to get off of a road, So when we are driving on a road for a long time and we see, oh, this is the place to turn, yeah? We say, let's get off this road, which means let's leave this road. Let's stop using this road and turn or change, yeah? For example, I think we need to get off this road. I think we need to get off this road. So both of these mean to leave the transport method or to leave the road, to get off the road, okay? To get off the train, okay? All right, so let's compare this one to get out of, to get out of. So we use this one for personal vehicles. So to get out of a car, to get out of a truck, to get out of a taxi, yeah? So this means to leave a car, to leave a truck, to leave a taxi, yeah? For example, please get out of the car. Please get out of the car. Or, can you get out of the truck okay? Can you get out of the truck okay? We use this expression when we park a car. If my hand is the car. We park a car close to something and it's really, really close. We can't open the door, yeah? So we ask, can you get out of the truck okay? Like, is there space to get out of the truck, yeah? So you can use this expression in that situation. Can you get out? Which means, are you able to leave the car? So this is to get off and to get out, okay? So again, the key difference here is shared transportation. We use get on and get off, and personal transportation, to get in and to get out of. Yeah? All right, so this is part 2 of our phrasal verbs. Let's take one more super quick break and then we'll go to part 3 with even more phrasal verbs. So if you missed it earlier, I will say one more time super briefly. The team has a 40% off sale at EnglishClass101.com. So if you have been thinking about studying with us, check the details at the link below the video on YouTube or above the video on Facebook. This is a super good chance to get started, and you can find all of the different tools and resources that we have on our website at this page right here. You can scroll down to find that. And hopefully you will be able to find something that is a good match for your needs. So this is for premium and premium plus plans with us. So check it out. Okay, let's go to our last part, part 3 for today, even more phrasal verbs, okay? All right, real quick, I'll check your messages. Some of you have sent some messages. Let's see. Oh, Dilshad wrote, I think I get out of next station. So your preposition matters. To get out of next station. So this, let's see. When you want to talk about your destination, use the preposition at. Yeah? Get off at the next station. When you want to express that you are leaving, I want to get out of the car. Yeah? So there's 2 differences there. Destination uses at the next station, get out of the train. So there's 2 different prepositions we use there. Okay? Otanipom, which is better to use? Get on the bike or ride on the bike? Well, there's no better, but just different ways to say it, right? So please get on the bike, or we don't say ride on the bike usually. We say ride the bike, right? Because ride, we don't need to use the preposition on there. So get on the bike or ride the bike. They're both okay to use. Okay, let's go to part 3, more phrasal verbs. Okay, so for this, I'm going to talk about some car-related phrasal verbs and some kind of everyday task-related transportation verb. So let's look at this pair to start. So to pull in and to pull out of a space. Yeah, to pull in to a location. So to pull in to a location means to go into a location, usually in a car. We almost always use pull in with a car. So imagine this is a parking space, yeah? This is a little parking space. And this circle, this is my car. So when we say pull in, it means slowly drive in to that space, yeah? Usually it means slowly or carefully drive into that space. As in this sentence, pull into that space. means kind of carefully go in here. Yeah, carefully enter this location. Pull in to that space. So we use pull in to talk about entering something. Again, usually, almost always, we use this with cars, okay? So we don't use this when we are walking. We don't use this on like a skateboard. Maybe pilots use it on planes. I'm not sure. I'm not a pilot, so I can't listen. But maybe pilots use it to talk about carefully driving a plane somewhere in the airport. That could be possible. Usually, we use it with cars. The opposite of to pull in is to pull out of a space. So when you are in the parking space and you carefully exit, we use to pull out of a space to express that. So that person is pulling out of their parking space. That person is pulling out of their parking space. That means that person is slowly, carefully leaving their parking space, okay? We also use this phrasal verb to express a couple things at the same time. That is in this situation, to pull out into traffic, to pull out into traffic. So you might think, wait, okay, pull out means leave, that's right. And then we add into here. So this pattern expresses leaving, carefully leaving something, and entering in the same motion. So we often do this when driving a car, right? We leave a place and we enter at the same time. So we leave a maybe parking space and we enter the road, right? So we use to pull out into traffic to express this. Or to pull out, you might also hear to pull out onto a road. So let's look at an example sentence here. Someone pulled out into traffic too quickly and caused an accident. Someone pulled out into traffic too quickly. This means someone left their space too quickly and entered traffic, and it was too fast, an accident happened. Okay? So a car accident happened. So we can use pull out plus another action, so into or onto. Okay? So we can use pull out in these two ways. Okay. Hello to everyone that is joining live. Okay, let's continue. Oh my gosh, I'm late already again. Okay, so let's continue to the last two, which are not just for cars. These are used just in everyday, kind of everyday life, really. You can use them no matter the transportation. Maybe not with an airplane, but or a bus. Basically, any transportation that you control, we can use these. So let's take a look at to stop at and to run by. To stop at and to run by. So to stop at a location. To stop at a location. So can we stop at the bank? Can we stop at the bank? So this means can we make a short trip to the bank? Can we stop at the bank? You might also hear stop in at the bank. Can we stop in at the bank? They mean the same thing. It sounds like a very short visit somewhere. You have a short task to take care of. Or this train stops at all stations. This train stops at all stations. Okay? So these express, again, a place where you stop doing something and do something else, in this case. Or here we have one that expresses the location of the different destinations. This train stops at all stations. So sometimes I hear with this one, stops on, I think, maybe, or stops in. We use stop at for our destination. Okay, let's go to our last one then. To run by. To run by a location. So to run by a location also means quickly stop somewhere. So stop at location sounds slower than run by a location. So stop at a location sounds like we are going to stop here for a short time. To run by sounds like really quickly, like we're no stopping. We're gonna go very, very fast. Yeah? So let's run by the supermarket. Let's run by the supermarket. So this verb, this phrasal verb, it does not mean actually running. It means just quickly go someplace and do something quickly. Everything is quickly. Or, can you run by the post office? Can you run by the post office? It sounds like do something very quickly there. So let's run by the supermarket. I need to buy some milk. So maybe a 5-minute task, right? So we use run by to make things sound faster, like just a quick, short task to do. Okay? All right. Carla says, I need to stop at the bank to withdraw some money. Next one. Stop at the bank. Okay. Mauricio, what's the difference between can you drop me here and can I get out here? Can you drop me here is used, I guess you could use it with your friend or family member or with a taxi driver, I suppose, which means let me out here. Can I get out here? There are a couple different ways that might be used. Can I get out here? Maybe is like a way to ask permission. Like, is it okay to get out here? And it also could mean, is it possible for me to leave the car here? So it depends on what you want to say there. So can you drop me here? Sounds like, please let me out of the car here. I hope that answers your question. All right, I'm late. Wow, I'm really late. So let's finish up there. So with stop at and run by. Okay, so we've finished today's phrasal verbs and transportation methods lesson. I hope that you found something new and got some practice with those transportation expressions. Okay, so we have to finish for today. If you want to take a screenshot of today's lesson boards, here is your last chance. So today we talked about basic transportation method expressions. We talked about some common verbs and we practiced making sentences to talk about our transportation. Second, we talked about phrasal verbs with get, specifically get on, get in, get off, and get out of. And lastly, we talked about some car and some daily life related phrasal verbs. So I hope that you picked up a few things and I hope that you can really consider those at and on and by, those little prepositions, right? Those are really, really important to practice. And it takes time to get used to it, but that's why we practice. So that is also why they are a part of next week's lesson. So next week's lesson information is here. Next week, I'll be back, of course, September 28th at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is New York City time. If you don't know your local time, please use your Google skills. This is me Googling. Please use your Google skills, or you can set a notification on Facebook or a topic notification on YouTube, or I almost always post a topic reminder on my Instagram, in my Instagram stories with a link. Next week, we are going to practice using by, at, and in. It's so important to practice our little prepositions every so often. So please join me. Next week, we will probably review some of these points I covered today, but we're going to focus on these prepositions next time. Okay, so that will be it for me for today. So thank you, as always, for joining me live. Thank you so much for liking and sharing this video. I really appreciate it. The team really appreciates it. Thanks for all of your great comments today, too, and great sample sentences and questions. I will say goodbye for now. If you want to get this 40% off deal, definitely check it out. The link is below the video on YouTube, above the video on Facebook. This is only active until September 23rd. The team has this discount, the 40% discount, until, that's 2 days from now? So make sure if you want to get this that you go now. Just go now. So check this out if you want to study with us. It's a super, super good chance to do that. Okay, so I'll say goodbye. So thanks as always. Thanks for liking and sharing. Have a good day.